Welcome to Roll Credits, where movie and TV lovers get the trivia they didn't know they needed. This podcast was created with the help of AI tools. While we do our best to keep things accurate and fun, there may occasionally be errors or outdated information. Always double-check if you're citing trivia and enjoy the show. Today, we're checking into the White Lotus, the HBO series that mixes luxury, dysfunction, and biting social satire. Season 1 takes us to a high-end Hawaiian resort where drama bubbles just under the surface of every mimosa. Okay, so the White Lotus Season 1. It really drops us right into this week-long pressure cooker at a fancy Hawaiian resort, doesn't it? You've got these super wealthy guests, the staff trying to keep everything perfect.
And it looks like paradise, right?
Yeah.
But the show is just brilliant at peeling back those layers. You know, the perfect tourists, the always smiling staff, the gorgeous scenery. It reveals something much, much darker underneath all that.
Yeah, darker dynamics bubbling up. Oh. It's like this masterclass in social satire disguised as a vacation show.
Exactly. And it's fascinating how Mike White, the creator, put that tone together. He actually talked about being inspired by classic shows he watched growing up, things like Fantasy Island, The Love Boat.
Oh, interesting. Those feel so different, though. Much more kind of lighthearted.
Right. But then he mixed in elements from reality TV, specifically Survivor. He even said it's embarrassingly true how he borrowed that whole who's gonna die hook from Survivor.
Yeah.
You know, with the dramatic music and cuts to build suspense.
Oh, okay. I can totally see that now. It adds this weird tension to the whole vacation vibe. Like you're not just watching people relax, you're waiting for something bad to happen. Almost competitive in a strange way.
Precisely. It keeps you guessing, keeps you on edge about who makes it out. And, you know, Season 1 was actually originally pushed as a mini-series for the Emmys.
Right, a self-contained story.
Exactly, which might be why a lot of people feel it's the most kind of tight and focused season. It's often seen as the most lighthearted, too, maybe the funniest overall. But its core really is that stark contrast. The guests, their money, their behavior, versus the hotel employees serving them. That power dynamic is front and center.
That contained intensity in the story. It kind of mirrored the actual filming, didn't it? Because they shot this during the COVID lockdown. That must have been intense.
Oh, absolutely. It was right in the middle of the pandemic. The whole cast, the whole crew, they were literally confined to the Four Seasons Resort Maui at Wailea for, I think, 3 months.
Wow, just them.
Just them. They were the only guests in the entire resort, which created this huge challenge, right? How do you make distinct, luxurious-looking hotel rooms when you can't actually, you know, paint the walls or make big changes?
Yeah, good point. What did they do?
Well, the production designer, Laura Fox, and her team got really clever. Their solution, fabric. Lots and lots of fabric. They basically emptied the rooms, kept the beds, and then just used tons of different tropical textiles to give each suite its own personality.
That's brilliant. So, like Jennifer Coolidge's character, Tanya, her room was that super bright, busy hibiscus suite. Was that all fabric?
Pretty much. That suite name, Hibiscus Suite, didn't even exist before they started filming. Fox found this amazing hibiscus fabric, showed Mike White, and he was like, yes, that's Tanya.
Huh. So the fabric kind of defined the character space.
Totally. It was a smart way to visually define the characters and their sort of internal states through their surroundings, even with all those restrictions. And apparently, the Palm Suite, the one Shane Patton is obsessed with not getting.
Yeah, the source of so much angst.
Right. Well, the design team made it look so good that the crew actually used to just hang out in there between takes.
No way. That tells you something.
It really does. And they did subtle stuff, too. Like in the Mossbacher family suite, the Tradewind suite, the artwork on the walls apparently hinted at plot points coming up.
Really? Little Easter eggs.
Yeah, Fox even said they worried it was maybe too obvious, too on the nose. But it adds layers for anyone watching closely or, you know, rewatching.
Considering all that the bubble, the design workarounds, what blows my mind is how fast it all came together. Mike White wrote the whole thing incredibly quickly.
That's kind of astonishing, yeah. He had something like 2.5 months, August to October 2020, to write all the scripts, prep everything, cast the show, and then start filming.
Wow. That's insane for a show like this.
It really is. Speaks volumes about his vision, I think.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. The music. You cannot talk about White Lotus Season 1 without talking about that score by Cristobal Tapia de Buer. It's so distinctive. Unsettling, almost.
Oh, completely inseparable from the show now. But it's really interesting is that apparently Mike White initially just wanted, like, nice background music. Pretty standard stuff.
Seriously. Because what we got was not that.
Not at all. Tapia de Vere's style is generally pretty dark and edgy. He sort of jokingly suggested a Hawaiian Hitchcock vibe, and White surprisingly went for.
Hawaiian Hitchcock. That nails it, actually.
Right. So Tapia de Vere just leaned into his usual weird music, as he calls it. Lots of chanting, screaming, tribal sounds. He said it felt like the music was almost forced into the show because it was so out there.
I remember when it first came out, people were really divided on the music. Some found it really distracting, stressful even.
They definitely did. Lots of complaints initially, too much, stressful, distracting. But then something shifted. It became iconic. People started, really getting into it, even dancing to the theme tune.
Yeah, it totally grew on you. Or maybe just defined the show's feeling so perfectly.
I think so. And Tapia de Vere himself thinks taking that risk was crucial. He even credits it with helping the show win Emmys. He stuck to his guns, and it just massively paid off. It is the sound of that unsettling paradise.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
So let's talk characters. Mike White seems to have this amazing ability to just observe people.
Yeah.
And he often writes with specific actors in mind, right? Like Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah, he's known for being a really keen observer of human behavior. And apparently his time on Survivor actually gave him some unique insights into how people act under pressure.
Survivor again. Makes sense.
And also his upbringing in an evangelical household, that gave him a sharp eye for societal hypocrisies, which obviously feeds right into the show's themes about privilege, morality.
Yeah.
That gap between who we think we are and who we actually are.
That really holds up a mirror, doesn't it? Sometimes uncomfortably so. And Jennifer Coolidge, as Tanya, that role was literally written for her.
Yes, specifically for her. And like we mentioned, even her suite, that bright, busy hibiscus room, was designed to perfectly match her character's energy. It shows how integrated the character, the actor, and the environment were from the start.
Besides Tanya, who became this instant icon, another character people talk about a lot is Quinn Mossbacker, the teenage son. He has a really different kind of arc.
Quinn's journey is pretty remarkable, yeah. He starts off so tuned out, glued to his phone, his Switch, completely disconnected from his chaotic family.
It's almost invisible at first.
Exactly. But slowly through the week, he starts pulling away from all that dysfunction. He finds this connection, first with nature, the ocean, the paddling, and then with the local culture, the guys on the boat. And he genuinely transforms. He becomes more grounded, more self-aware. He actually chooses a different path at the end, something authentic for him. People often point to him as maybe the only character in the whole White Lotus universe who really breaks free from their sort of destructive patterns.
That's a really good point. He connects with the locals differently too, doesn't he? Not like the other guests.
Exactly. As equals, it offers this little glimpse of a different perspective away from all the entitlement. It's kind of a hopeful note amidst all the biting satire.
It really is. Which brings us back to that social commentary. When you boil it all down, what's the core message about wealth and privilege in season 1?
Well, it's a pretty unflinching look at class, isn't it? Power dynamics, entitlement, even cultural appropriation when these wealthy tourists interact with the local Hawaiian culture. Mike White talks about it, showing that gulf between who we imagine we are and who we really are, and how living your supposed best life can actually harm people around you.
And being in paradise just makes it sharper somehow.
Totally. Because if you're miserable in literal paradise, the problem isn't the place, right? It's something inside you that you just can't escape.
Like that quote comparing it to The Shining at the beach. Even in this huge, beautiful resort, they're trapped with themselves.
Spot on. Even with all that space, they can't get away from their own issues. And it's interesting, Mike White has said that while he used to always identify with the underdog, he's come to realize, the man has problems too.
So it's not just pointing fingers, it's more complex.
I think so. It adds this layer of nuance. It's not just condemning the rich. It's looking at the complexities of human nature, even for those who seem to have it all. It forces you, the viewer, to see everyone's internal struggles, maybe even find unexpected sympathy.
And that's our stay at the White Lotus Season 1. If you enjoyed this deep dive into dark comedy and tropical chaos, subscribe to Roll Credits and tell a friend. We'll see you next time, but maybe skip the spa treatments with that guy Armin.